just on the Jeffrey Sachs interview, I saw a lot, and not that you want to take time to respond to your critics, but it bothers me because it's not just you that they do this to. It's like everyone. There was a reaction to, because you had someone who aired a critical view of another country, Israel, you get attacked as if you have some obligation to not have people with certain viewpoints, or you must only have people with the opposite viewpoints, which is that of pro-Israel. Why is there, and this is probably going to get me in trouble, whatever, but why is this instinctual, reflexive reaction that, like, to another country, largely, again, to people, if we're all American, like, who cares what Jeffrey Sachs or whomever's view is on any foreign country, and why is it Tucker Carlson's responsibility to defend? I really, at a basic level, don't understand that.
I don't either, and I'm not defensive about it because I don't have any weird, unstated motives at all. Yeah. I bear no animus toward any country. In the specific case of Israel, I kind of like Israel. I've taken my family there on vacation, and I can sincerely say Jerusalem is probably my favorite city in the world. Well, it is, of course, my favorite city. There's no more amazing place than Jerusalem. I'd like to live there. Hardly against Israel, but I'm an American, so I see things through the lens of my own country where my children were born and still live, and I hope my grandchildren will live, and their children. My family's been here for like 400 years, so I think I have a right to say that.
Yeah.
And I care about America, and I care about two things. I care about free speech in the United States, and if an alliance with another country is going to be a justification for taking away my birthright, which is the First Amendment, I'll fight that because I'm an American. And if any alliance with any country, including Great Britain, where my ancestors came from, by the way, which is, I'll just say it, I don't like Great Britain at all.
Yeah.
Okay? In fact, I think I like Israel more than Great Britain, but whatever. It doesn't matter. I'm an American. And when the interests of a foreign country contradict the interests of my country, I'm taking my country's side. So that's it.
I
don't really care. Like the hysteria, it's like, if you burn an American flag, nobody cares. But if you were to burn the flag of certain foreign countries, you'd like.
Or like they have certain foreign countries' flags in the halls. Like members of Congress have it hanging up there. Like, what if you hung the flag of Germany in your congressional office, or like France, or UK?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I kind of think the U.S. Congress should serve the interests of the people it was hired to serve. Constitutionally, it's required to serve. So, but again, I'm not defensive about it because I'm not sending dog whistles or whatever. If I think something, I'll just say it.
Right.
And I don't think that my view, well, you've worked for me, so you know, I mean, I personally think my views are completely moderate. I don't want to control or hurt anybody. I don't want to even really impose my views on people that much at all. I don't have aspirations for power. Trump just got elected. I campaigned for Trump. Probably could have talked my way into some position. I don't want one.
Right.
It's not about the money. Anyway, I don't think I have weird motives. I have a clean conscience on this. And I do think, I'll just say it, I think October 7th made, understandably, a lot of people extremely sensitive and extremely paranoid. And I get it. I totally sympathize with that. And so there is a temptation. I've had conversations about this today, about the Jeff Sachs interview. Friends of mine was like, I can't believe you platformed it, whatever. An anti-Semite. Really? I think his family lives in Israel. I think he's an anti-Semite. Whatever.
Yeah.
Calm down. And I think it's the anti-Israel protests on campus and October 7th made people feel very touchy. I get it. But in my specific case, I've made the same, I think, relatively coherent argument for since the Iraq War, the United States ought to act in its own interests. I'm a nationalist in a non-threatening way. I think the U.S. government should act on behalf of U.S. citizens. That's how I feel.
Well, and I think what's gross is that they have to assert that there's some, like what you said, it can't just be what you're saying out loud. That's not a good enough reason. They have to impugn some.
They always go to
secret
motive and all this stuff. And I heard that. I got all these texts about Jeff Sachs. Now, I happen to know Jeff Sachs and like him enormously for his decency and his knowledge. And he's just a moderate temperament. We don't agree. He's a liberal. I don't agree with him on a lot of things. But on foreign policy, I really do. And I think that his motives are pure. And if they're not, tell me how they're not. But I'm actually not even that interested in motives. I'm interested in his analysis.
Exactly.
And so I get all these texts today from friends and people I like, actually. Well, he's this and that. And he's a liberal, and he's secretly working for the CCP. And I was like, it didn't even make any sense. They're just trying to attack the guy. And I said, okay, if you can show me any of that, I guess I'm sort of interested. But let's talk about what he said on TV. Which, by the way, I interviewed him. I wasn't making an ad with him.
Yeah.
I mean, what? And last thing I'll say, it's pretty crazy for self-described conservatives who share basically none of the values that I have, but whatever. I don't know how we're on the same team, but to say that you're not allowed to talk to someone who they disagree with,
Right.
how is that different from like Kamala Harris or AOC?
Right.
I just reject that. I think I'm the liberal. I think you should be able to talk to anybody you want, and you're responsible for what you say and do, not what others say and do. You can't be like bounced from your job for being friends with someone or talking to someone. I have like actual friends who've committed murder. I know a lot of random people. I've been in journalism for 35 years. I know a lot of people. Don King, who I love, killed 2 people. I mean, I'm not endorsing the murder. I just like Don King.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like the whole thing is nuts, and I'm not going to play along.
Yeah.
And I don't feel like I have to.
Well, last thing I'll say, I said to these guys before, at a base level, I don't know why on that subject it can't just be, okay, like I really don't care what Israel does, but we're $30-some trillion in debt. We have to borrow money for the things we do. Like, why are they above borrowing money for their conflicts? That's at the most basic level.
Or
That's
how about
like
every country gets to make its own decisions based on its own interests and then pay for those decisions, and you act within your means. Like, I don't know, I guess I would like a super yacht, but I can't afford one.
Right.
So I'm not trying to force someone else to buy me one. I have to get along with my neighbors because they live next door. I don't have the money to buy their houses and evict them. So I have to make certain accommodations. Like, they don't like my dogs barking, I got to tell my dogs to shut up. Like, I don't know. This is what it is to live with people. And everyone goes through this. And I feel sorry. I definitely feel sorry for Israel. I mean, I feel like they are surrounded by people who hate them. But that's kind of what it is. That's what life is.
Yeah.
And it's not unique to that country or that region. Everybody deals with this. Congo and Burundi deal with this. We deal with this with Mexico, which is effectively our enemy. They're letting fentanyl and migrants come through. Like, this is what life is.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to be defensive or mad about it. I'm going to laugh at people on the right who are like, I don't have the right to talk to somebody. Oh, shut up.
That's good advice.
Yeah.